Hello there and welcome to another edition of Movies and Entertainment on iAfrica Voices, reaching you from Ottawa, the Canadian capital city. I'm Joy Usiago. Our guest is Kathryn Fasegha, a prolific personality with multiple stones on her crown. You get to hear all about her in the course of our conversation. Kathryn Fasegha started far away from the popular film schools in Los Angeles or New York. Still, she has successfully built her filmmaking career off the ground due to passion, hard work, and collaborating with like-minded minds in the film industry in Canada and Nigeria. The London School of Journalism trained writer and a graduate of theatre arts with a master's in broadcasting, is an award-winning filmmaker. She released her first full-length feature film, Treacherous Heart, in 2012. The movie screened across Canada as well as in film festivals across North America. Her latest work, 2 Weeks in Lagos, premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in May 2019.
Where is she? Where is the spineless coward who had thugs beat up my daughter? You? Who is this woman? Dele, get rid of her. If you touch me, I'll tear you to pieces this morning. You dare hide behind your thoughts? Face me! Face me like a woman so I can show you what it is when cowards think they're above the law.
How did Nigerian-Canadian Kathryn Fasegha navigate through her personalized journey into the film industry? And thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Joy. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here.
And how is Calgary?
Well, Calgary is still cold, still pretty cold, but yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Oh, well, even in Ottawa, the cold is just beginning. We're yet to get into the deep winter cold, so we're still enjoying it while we have the opportunity to enjoy what we have now. Impressive. So, Kathryn,
exactly.
I took a look at your CV. You have one of the most impressive CVs. I mean, you are an award-winning filmmaker. You're a broadcast journalist. You wrote for some of the great business magazines. What else again? You worked as an administrative coordinator and also ran a property management company. And you're a wife and a mother. Where do you get the energy?
I wish I knew, Joy. There are days, in fact, these days, as I get older, I'm thinking, oh, I wish there was a way to have bottled up all of that energy and kept it for there are days I really need it now. But I think, for us women, one of the things that I've learned in the course of my lifetime is that women are pretty strong. We do what we need to do, right? And so I started out with a career in a field, and when I became a mother, I chose to move away because I wanted to focus on raising my kids. But again, and I'm sure that you're this way too, Joy, is when you've been an active person, you just can't do nothing. So even while raising kids, I felt, I still had a lot to give. And that was when I decided to, go study feature writing, and so I did a course in feature writing at the London School of Journalism, and then started freelance writing, and that was how I got into writing for magazines. And so it was good because I could do that with my kids, while I could take them with me when I go to interviews. I can write when they are sleeping. I can do, so I recorded interviews, so I transcribe when they're in bed, and I write and do all of that. So, and so many, and again, I'm also a very intellectually curious. I like to do different things, right?
I can tell.
So yeah, so going into the banking industry was basically like, an opportunity came up, and I thought, I mean, why not? I could try it and see. So it was a very great experience. I enjoyed it. And incidentally, I left banking to focus on the film aspect. So that was really the last paid job I did. At the end of the day, my love has always been drama.
Before we move to the crux of our conversation, how did your husband and children take all that? I mean, juggling from one point to the other?
I have to say that, I know everybody talk about, oh, I have the best husband ever, but I really think in my case I do, because what I do, I wouldn't be where I am without him. He's really just giving me the support, to do the things that I want to do. He's supported me all the way. He's, even when, it's been difficult, like I've had to juggle. And of course, with having young children, especially when my children were young, it was really, really tough. So he was really very supportive. He encouraged everything that I tried to do. He encouraged me when I went into writing. He supported me with every job that I picked up. And even with the film, he's been, I think, my biggest cheerleader, and making it possible that, I can do this. The children have been great.
Excellent. That's good for your career. So let's talk about you as a filmmaker. And I want us to start with 2 weeks in Lagos, which premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 2019 and is built to open in cinemas across West Africa in 2021, and also in 4 cities in Canada.
2 weeks in Lagos is a very unique story because it accomplished 2 things which are very dear to my heart. It showcased Lagos, it showcased Nigeria for me, which is something which is, I'm particular about, like even being conscious of it, living over here in Canada, all these years. I'm always conscious of my Nigerian heritage, making sure that my children understand their background and trying to get people to understand, Nigerian culture, who we are, and, how we are, really, basically just getting that out there. Over the years, I've had so many discussions with people who assume things, and they don't know what Nigeria is really like, what Lagos is really like. So this was my opportunity to showcase, to show them Lagos, the Lagos I know. And then I also wanted to showcase my faith, because these are the things that are so important to me. And one of my pet peeves have been, the way Christianity is portrayed, the way people see Christianity. Every time you tell somebody I'm a Christian, I'm a born-again Christian, they look at you like, aha, you're one of those. And one of the things I wanted to portray with 2 weeks in Lagos is to let those who are not born-again Christians understand that being a born-again Christian doesn't mean, not being yourself. It's about a relationship with Jesus Christ. It's nothing more than that.
Ejike, I understand you. You are born again.
I am.
And you believe in the will of God.
I do.
But, so do I. So do we.
So what are you
We
saying?
believe in the
Do
will
we?
of God. And you have not seen this girl. She is beautiful, elegant, classy, and she is successful. Look, I have her on my Facebook.
She's on your Facebook.
You better leave now before I expose you.
Expose her? Is this the girl you knew since she was a baby?
You don't know her.
I know exactly who she is. Thank you very much.
You don't know who she is. Her MO is to take other people's men.
How dare you? This is all a lie. What did she do to you that is so bad that you say such hurtful things about her?
Why not? That was how she met Femi for the first time. Hey, immediately, Femi started running after her day and night, day and night. The most painful part of this whole thing is this girl did not even like the Femi, but she just decided to ruin Femi's life. Mom, what has gotten over you?
I hear say you fine, I hear say you're beautiful.
Let's talk about the selection of the actors. How did you go about that process? Because I know that if you're talking of value addition, you can't do that without the caliber of actors you had.
Before going to Lagos, the only actors that I really knew that were there were like Joke Silva and Jide Kosoko. So it was really important to me to actually have auditions with all of these actors. So, and I really wanted to get to know them one-on-one. So especially the ones who wanted to play the lead roles. So I actually decided to meet with each and every person who wanted to play that role. I talked with them, I got them to read for me, and I chatted with them. And the idea being for me is it's really important to have people who embody the character you have created, because that is the only way they will be convincing in that role. It wasn't even about how long they had been in the industry, or
it was about them getting into character.
It's about them being that character, being right for the role. Yeah.
And I guess you were impressed at the end of the production.
I was, and I have to say that they proved me right. I was really, really impressed. And I will mention specifically, the Mauli, Gavo, a really talented young man. And the moment I spoke with him, I knew. The moment I spoke with Beverly, I knew she was that character, and incidentally, when both of them came on set, the chemistry was amazing. It was, it was hard
They're
not to.
great actors. I watch a lot of Nollywood and I see them. If you think about the movie, making it all the way to Cannes Film Festival, I mean, it tells that it's a great movie. So let's talk about the reception you got at Cannes. How did that go?
Cannes was amazing. It's an experience that, I wouldn't give up for anything, So it was really, really amazing. Going into Cannes, one of my biggest concerns was how the movie was going to be received, because of course, Cannes is an industry festival. So it's not like other festivals where you have outsiders coming in, to watch the film. So I knew that most of the people who were going to see my film were industry people. The reception was really, really great, because out of Cannes, we got 3 distribution offers. Then our deal with Landmark also came out of Cannes, because the owner of Landmark, the founder.
Landmark here in Canada.
Yeah, and it was in Cannes he saw the film. He actually came to watch it in Cannes. So that was a really good experience for us, having that feedback from industry people saying this is a really good film. The quality of this film is good. We love the story. Like the distributor we had from the US was already analyzing it and saying, this is what I loved so much about this. He was giving me perspectives, which I didn't have when I wrote it. And I'm like, wow, I'm really glad you could get that from it, because that wasn't the perspective.
That's great. That's great, because when I got to Canada in 2009, just rubbing minds with many Canadians, I could tell that many of them didn't have a good understanding of Africa as a continent. Some people described Africa as a country, and I had to start telling stories. It was at that point it hit me that
Yeah.
unless we tell the stories ourselves,
Exactly.
whatever they feed them on the internet is what they're going to take.
Exactly.
Tell me about your collaboration with Canadian film producers. How is that going for you?
Oh no, that is really great. Like one of the things that I found joy when I jumped back into the industry here is how, welcoming Canadians are, how accepting they are, because and how helpful they are. I'll tell you, like people helped me, people did a whole lot, you know, guided me in so many ways. People in the industry, there is a young man that I never stopped talking about. He was my director of photography for my first film, Aaron Benakovich. He would have been the director of photography for 2 weeks in Lagos, but we had issues with visa. This young man, he's so talented, he's so creative, and he is so willing to help. So that is what I find with the industry here. Collaboration is so easy. People are so willing to work with you because a lot of the people doing films here truly, genuinely love films.
Yeah.
That's what I found here. They're not doing it just as a means of making money or getting fame. They truly,
They're really
genuinely love
passionate
film.
about it. I think it's a general thing with Canadians.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you are willing to ask,
Yes.
they'll tell you. But when you don't ask, when you sit in your corner and you expect them to come to you, I think that's where the challenge is. I know that there are many filmmakers, Nigerian filmmakers in Canada. I've spoken to a couple of them. I had one-on-one interview with one of them who spoke about you in glowing terms too. And that tells me that a group of you are networking in Canada.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we're networking. One of the things that we have realized is, no one is an island.
That's right.
And if we're going to make an impact, we can make an impact as a group rather than as individuals. So we can all be individually talented, but, we can only reach so far. But when we come together as a group, we can go a lot further than one person can. So there are a number of filmmakers now of Nigerian origin here in Canada. So we have come together, and this is a brainchild. Really, I won't take credit for this. This is a brainchild of Tokumbo Jaboro in Toronto, who started the Toronto International Nollywood Film Festival. So Tokumbo started these groups, like there's the Black Film group, and then there's the Black Actors group, which is really to help us network, come together, do projects together, and I know currently those of them in Toronto are filming a short film. They are doing a short film, which, members of the group are all part of it. And this is the way it should be, because we need to collaborate more. We need to do more. We need to tell our own stories, because you mentioned it earlier. Nobody's going to tell our stories for us.
I know that the current High Commissioner of Nigeria to Canada, His Excellency Adeyinka Ashekun, has been working with the private sector in Nigeria to see how they can build a bridge between Canada and Nigeria in terms of, people-to-people exchange. And a lot has been going on in terms of businesses. And I know that they're also thinking about the film industry, how to connect filmmakers in Canada with filmmakers in Nigeria. What do you think that will portend for both countries if we eventually have that going?
I think when that happens, it's going to be a really, really great thing. It's good because Joy, that I'm fully in support of that. I back that completely, because it's going to create a lot of opportunities, especially for filmmakers like me, who are interested in bridging both worlds. And because now I'll tell you, one of the reasons I make film here is so that our children born here, can continue to understand their culture, continue to understand where they come from. Why do we tell you the things we tell you? You need to understand that. And if we end up having this collaboration, with Canada and Nigeria, what this does is that it's going to help with the movement of productions and production money with investments. If we have a co-production treaty, it makes it already easy. It is going to help to improve the quality of the productions that we're making, because a lot more people are going to be able to invest into that industry. It will bring business back here into Canada from Nigeria. It will bring business into Nigeria from Canada.
Tell me about funding. How are you doing in that field? Because I've seen a sneak peek of one of your movies, and the quality, I know a lot of money went into it.
Yeah, it did actually. Yeah, the bulk of my money goes into the technical part of it, because I think once you have a good story, then the technical part of it enhances that story. If you do not get the technical part right, it doesn't matter how big the actors that you have are. You just lose it, because it just takes away from the whole experience. Now with funding is the big thing. It's the big issue when it comes. And it's the reason why right now I'm not making 2-3 films a year, because it is difficult to get funding. We still have to prove ourselves, and to prove that this is a viable industry. So they don't still see it as a business. So now we're a lot of self-funding. And then I got also a partner for this last film in Nigeria. So I've had people that were depending a lot on brands, brands that want to promote and all of that. So that is the way basically that we're funding. Yeah.
It is something that is global, and we hope that people, especially in the private sector, will recognize what is involved in this industry and support producers like you. So let's talk a bit about Treacherous Heart. Tell me about that movie.
Yes, Treacherous Heart is, like when we say, oh, your baby, that's your baby. That was my first feature film. And, so it has a really, really special place in my heart, right? So now Treacherous Heart was also a passion project, so it's a story, it deals with the lives of the children born to immigrants here in this country. The way the society is that the society encourages them to be themselves, think for themselves, reject things you don't agree with, and if people are telling you something, they've got to convince you that, of this, it's the way
I got that experience with one of my sons 3 years after we moved here. I remember, how back home our parents tell you things and they just expect you to take it because it's coming from your mom or your dad.
They say it and they're wiser than you.
Yes, I tell him things and he goes, so mom, why do I have to do that?
Exactly.
He said, you have to do it because I'm your mom. I'm telling you what is good for you. And he's saying, no, there's no problem with you telling me that. Just give me a good explanation, a good reason why I should do it that way and not the way.
Exactly. And he's right. A lot of us immigrate to Canada and we still expect, we know it's a different culture. We tell ourselves when we're living, oh, I want to create better opportunities for my children. And then you come to Canada, then you want to raise Nigerian children. You want to keep them in Nigeria, It doesn't work because they do not live in Nigeria. They live here in Canada. This is where they are relating with people. So we have to teach them how to bridge that world, and it starts with us. So that was my message with Treacherous Heart. And our lead actor for Treacherous Heart was a first-generation Canadian. So she actually understood it. One of the first things she said to me after she read the script was, have you by any chance be hiding out in my house and listening to conversations?
This is me. that I can just imagine that moment, you know, and her countenance. You know how when you're reading something and it's like, oh, this is me. They had me in mind when they were scripting.
Exactly. She was like, you know, she told me this is surreal. It's like I'm reading the story of my life, you know, about myself, you know, fights that I've had with my mother, you know, all of these things. I'm reading it here.
And that will help her get into character. Perfectly.
Oh, she did. Yeah, she was
an interesting movie.
Yeah, it was really very interesting. And Treasures had got a lot of attention. You know, first when I made it, it was really, I just wanted to tell this story. And, you know, I wanted to just share it with other Nigerians. And so, but when I sent the trailer to different media houses, they were so interested. They started calling me up for interviews. They wanted to interview my lead actor, Wumi, you know, to hear her experiences. It became a whole thing, you know, that we just blew up. And then we ended up getting a grant from the government of Alberta to do a tour with Treacherous Heart across Canada. And so we did that, and at each stop we did Q&As where we talked about the immigration issues and all. And you know, Joy, one of the things that came out of this was thinking I was writing a story for Nigerians, you know, and it ended up being a story that resonated with everybody. I had it was in Edmonton, at the Q&A in Edmonton, I had this older Caucasian gentleman who said to me and said, you know, that you don't describe this story as an African story.
Yeah.
He said it is a generational story. He said, because what you have written is not just about immigration. It is about generational differences, that we go through some of these issues, us as Caucasians with our children. In the generational aspect, it had nothing to do with immigration because we were born here, they were born here, so it's a generational thing. So that was really very interesting for me to see. And, you know, and one of the things we all kept stressing when we would talk about it, everybody would stress, is how alike we are.
You can also make an impact. Just find that thing you love doing and stay on it. Keep working. Your day is coming. That's it on this edition of the program. Until we come your way next time, I'm Joy Usiago. Thank you for staying with us. Bye now.